So let's talk about the flesh. I'll use the example of the snake shedding its skin and Rambo in the torture room. It's a good movie. Rambo's a good movie about some guy who says, you know what? Fuck my government. Fuck anybody who's in the wrong. I'm going to take my skills and go on the rampage for the right reasons. Is he wrong? I would love to hear your arguments explaining to me why Rambo is wrong, why he should be loyal to a country that has betrayed him for the wrong reasons. I'd love to hear it. Can't for the life of me imagine how you could be right and I could be wrong, just like with everything else I say at this point in my Order channel. I'd love to hear it nonetheless. The snake sheds its skin. If one beats up that skin and says, I have conquered the snake, how stupid is that? The message from the snake to those who seek to snake me, sneaky, right? Snake, those who seek to snake me. Snack, deity, diet, supper, super, Superman, supernatural. Those who seek to snake me. They're telling your own spirit animal, if you will, is telling you, you are wrong. You need to submit. The snake crawls on its belly. It's punished in the Bible. It is adverse to humanity. It bites our kids, our babies. Even evil deities are said to protect man from snakes at times. Rambo in the torture room. Have we reduced who this person is? Is he a hero? Does he lose his heroic status because you're torturing him? Because you have him tied up and you're acting bad for the moment? Heading toward an eternity of disgrace? Are you above him because you're torturing him? How ridiculous is that? You have helped perfect. Why did they throw it in the movie? Because it helps perfect him like Jesus on the cross. You unwittingly have helped perfected him. Is this required? No. But you're helping people see if they're wise observers. He's rambling whether you torture him or not. He doesn't need you to torture him. But for the blind, spiritually perhaps, they need that scene. And so it is with the sabotaged hero. The woman who rejects me because I am Rambo being tortured. Shame on her dull senses self. Shame on her. Your own culture has taught you better, even while they are betraying God. Shame on you. Shame, 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 shame. So where do we start? Speaking of your own culture. Romulus around 763 BC, if I remember correctly. I kind of wrote it down from memory. I didn't double check it. It's somewhere around there. It's said to have founded Rome. Is this who you are? Did Romulus have a father and mother? They say he was raised by wolves. Maybe he was kicked out for the right reasons. Maybe the rape of the Sabines shows us that. Should we start it with 763 BC? That's who my ancestors are, and that's where I'm starting it. Is that not shallow and worldly? Should people like that not keep out of religion? If that is your argument, do not tell me about God. If that is your argument, do not tell me about the Spirit. If you're going to use a guy who raised a bunch of rapists who are also seen as his symbol, the wolf is a symbol of the Roman people. If that is your symbol, and you have chosen to start with your ancestors at that point, don't tell me about the Creator who created all of mankind and created a universal religion. Don't tell me that. Save it for the dumbasses. Save it for the dolls. You can keep your harlot whores if they refuse to submit to God and they submit to that logic and identify themselves that way. My goodness, my goodness. Part of warrior-based honor and is not limiting it to your ethnic grouping. Honor is a universal, timeless idea that transcends the flesh. How can you limit it with your ethnic grouping, your national grouping, your racial grouping? We must use one most logical and most consistent scale for everybody. Consistent with what we truly know. If you cannot create a more viable argument, you are in a state of dishonor if you insist on your way, regardless of who's in charge, especially if you're threatened. Honor has everything to do with what happens when everyone is against you. What Christianity is alluding to is a disagreement that split people up. Families as such, the idea of a family in the flesh, right, is an idea of the sins of the fallen. We cannot include the righteous with the wicked into a family without labeling it, without it being evil. He says, you know what, Cain and Abel, right? The devil and God. Lucifer say he's my twin brother. I can't say, hey, he's my family, he's good, I got him. No, I can't do that. I can't say my good justifies his evil. I can't do that. I can only put myself in the family of those who have made it to that idea, which I know is a place, which is being right with God, regardless what happens to my body when it decays. I have made it in spirit to that place of the righteous. That is my family. It's like Jesus saying, that is your son, that is your daughter, that is your family when he's on the cross. If I remember correctly. That is your family. Those who are in the spirit headed for the same place, that is your family. Those who go somewhere else, they're with them. When it's time for spiritual war, they're standing with them. How can they say they're my family? That's their family. And yes, it hurts. Why should a martial artist fear pain, especially spiritual pain? My goodness, if there's one thing you should remember about martial arts systems, is it is about love and marshaling love and truth. And it's about pain, when to accept what is good pain, what is bad, and never to shrink from spiritual pain for the right reasons. If that is even what you would call it. Perhaps it is just fleshly pain. You know what idea I'm referring to. Pharaoh's family, if they are doing the wrong thing, can be no exception. Only Pharaoh is the blameless one, not every member of his family. Because if society gives him his rightful place, he is not going to fail. They need to submit. Every individual who is not Pharaoh needs to find Pharaoh. Okay? Pharaoh is given a greater degree of obstacles. Everyone comes together to cheat him. You can't cheat this guy who's destined for greatness by putting a little obstacle in his way. You have to put a great amount of obstacles in his way. If he stumbles in a way that is unacceptable, it is because they work together to cause him to. Therefore, he is the blameless one. It is nowhere near in his best interest to do anything but to have his rightful place. Why would he stumble? Everything should be his anyway. There is nothing that man can attain that should be out of his grasp. What need does he have to rape or cheat or steal? If he rapes, he's taken away from his cultivation cycle. He can also always make a new rule. She is my wife, leave her immediately. If he really thinks that's right. And if he does that for the wrong reasons, he's taken away from what makes him feel fulfilled, which is righteousness. Righteousness has given me the ability to respect myself and to feel fulfilled and to feel comfortable and happy with my existence. Not treachery. The King of Kings. No one gets to heaven but by him. All right, let's move on there. I could explore that idea more. I think you can figure that out. Okay. Let's look at the comparison I made in the video before this. Training and to run a train. It is like this is there for this comparison. I go as far as to say it is. If a bunch of people run a train on a little virgin girl, and in order for you to survive, you have to help them, what should you do? Yes, if Pharaoh has not ordered you to do something else, or to play along, you must fight them to the death. That is not how you train someone to be right with God. And what they are doing to me spiritually is them attempting to the best of their ability, one could argue, more or less, to run a train on my virgin or pure spirit. Train on a little virgin girl comparison. They're trying to overpower me and force me into an existence that is wrong. What happens when they rape her? What are the effects? How does she become? I go as far as to say that you'll be hard-pressed to find any righteous woman who has been treated such a way, who does not get redeemed by Pharaoh, who isn't completely fucked in the head. In the absence of a savior, she is lost. Period. And she's almost certainly completely fucked in the head. Not just kind of. If your ancestors were doing the right thing, you can connect to them through the Spirit. Why are you trying to save their flesh? That connection that really makes you a family, that love, is already there. If they don't leave you with the proper memories, what do you have? If they don't die in a state of honor, what do you have? I'm looking for my family who did everybody wrong, who killed everybody, they're eugenicist trash. Hello, can you reach me? Why should they be able to connect to you? On what level are you connecting to them? Remember that time when we killed those innocent people? It's fucking stupid. It's stupid. This person died resisting pure evil, and I'm seeking to connect to them through the sun and its intensity. That is how you connect to them. An intense connection for the right reasons to that love. That's what martial arts is about. That's how you connect to your family. That's how you honor your family. You hone or honor. Ra, no. Backward, where the H is the fence. Interchangeable vowels. Only in the divine order is Bruce Lee corrected. His statements are not true until I correct them, and they're placed in the divine order. He says something like the warrior. Okay, here we go. I didn't write it down here. Okay. Basically, he said that the successful warrior is the average man with focus. Something to this effect. I've been talking about focus for a long time. You look at the New Age talking about their warriors and their unfocused drug. Oh, we're no. You know, focus is intensity. The focus he's referring to as a true warrior is a martial arts intense focus. Not I'm focusing on my studies. Train on a little virgin girl comparison. Right? That's not what he's talking about. He's not talking about scientific focus. He's talking about intense natural focus and mental conditioning to perfect it. That's what he's talking about. Who could disagree? Every day with their actions they disagree, and they seek to tell you to listen to them and not me. And if you focus, you respect those with a greater focus, and you ask them, what do you see? And I'll put that picture at the end after the Bruce Lee. I'm pretty much running out of time here, so I'm going to put it on the screen right now. First picture is me and Igbo, and the actor who played Shaka Zulu, who was chosen because of his natural effect and appearance, which is similar to the Bantu migration, to the people who were the Bantu people who migrated to South Africa and replaced the local Africans there through the spear, which became the symbol of the Zulu people from generation to generation, the spear of generational power, right? That's passed on from father to son, from king to prince, who becomes king. The spear of generation, generating the spirit. Okay, and where do they get it from? They get it from the local people or the martial arts people that conquered the locals. Think about it. And of course, the heart of it, the source of it, the more focused version of it is the Igbo. Look at the expression of the Igbo people and find a people that expresses that God trait more than them. That is where most of you go wrong. You refuse to accept that truth and the deeper significance of it. So obviously, a great man with greater than laser-like focus is superior. So the most successful warrior is Pharaoh, who has achieved his true potential, or a great amount of success, who is the great man who with more focus. What he's referring to is a technique to train the average person, and he also is suggesting that somebody more insightful than him can come around and say that this is what the true meaning is. So his explanation suggests that a pharaoh corrects